example of a leader who caught the wave of the future because of his participation in DECA and his interest in marketing. As a former Washington DECA state president, he knows exactly what it takes to make a competitive field of marketing. He is proof of the importance of getting involved in activities that let you experience the benefits of our organization. Because of his leadership experience, he serves as a senior legislative assistant to Senator George Fleming, and he was instrumental in the writing of economic development legislation. His marketing experience takes him back to the days that he worked retail where he started at Sears Roebuck. Ebony magazine awarded him a distinguished honor and named him one of 30 leaders of America. As the director of sales and marketing at the Washington State Convention Center, he applies much of his DECA experience to promoting and marketing this beautiful convention center, as well as the city of Seattle. Although the end result of his marketing campaign is on a much broader scope, he knows that it takes the same enthusiasm and quest for success he had as a DECA member to achieve his lifetime goals. Welcome our keynote speaker who's caught the wave of the future because of his involvement in Washington DECA. Here's Nate Miles.
Hello! How are ya? How you doing? How you doing? Oh, that's weak, that's weak. How you doing? I heard you're in the hallway. How are you doing? Lot better, lot better. Where's Area 6? My home area. Where's Area 6? Yes! Yes! Woo. Where, please tell me, where is that school? Where is the school? Number 4 in the state, the home of the mighty Bulldogs. Pasco, where are you? Yes! There they are. I knew they were out there. Anytime DECA is around, Pasco is there. Pasco has been a leader in DECA in Washington State, and it looks like under the direction of the 2 people they have there now, it's going to continue that way. I am so pleased, ladies and gentlemen, to be back here today on this stage where about 115 years ago, as state president, we rose out of this orchestra pit, myself and 9 other members of your state team, and had our state convention here. A lot has changed in that time, both for myself and for DECA. What's this American marketing students and all of that? It used to be just distributive education. You guys got tired of saying Distributive Education Clubs of America, and everyone says, what's that, huh? Is that why they changed the name? I knew it. I knew it. We are here today to talk about leadership and what leadership is. There are several different people. If I asked the president what leadership is, he would probably say, well, you know, Nate, leadership, that leadership thing, that stepping out, being a leader is what we need. Leadership is what DECA is all about. It's taking risks. It's standing up for what you believe in. It's making sure that even when everyone else is against you, that you are willing to step out on what you believe and take those risks. Risks like Mr. Sears and Mr. Roebuck, when they challenged their competition, saying to them, I challenge you to make a better product. I believe so much in my product that I'm going to have a motto that simply says, the customer satisfaction or your money back. Now, can you deal with that? Mr. Sears and Mr. Roebuck were chilling. After that, you find people on the edge of greatness who followed that vein. People like Ray Kroc, who was once a milkshake salesman, a milkshake machine salesman, who thought he ran across a good idea these 2 brothers had down in Southern California of making hamburgers in a fast food way, and who invested $2 million that he didn't have, and now his wife is in control of the largest fast food convenience retailer in the world at McDonald's Corporation. That's leadership. That's stepping out. That's taking the $500 like John Johnson at Ebony Magazine did and turning it into the largest African-American owned publication in the world. That's leadership. When no one else was there with you, you take the lead, you take the initiative, and you step out. And I'll tell you what leadership isn't. Leadership is not backing away from the tough issues. It's not leaving your friends when they're in a pinch. It's not being afraid to speak out when you see need for improvement. And improvement is what we need in this country. I know if you're like me, when I was your age, I was tired of hearing people say, "You're our future, you know, you're the youth of today, you're our future," and rah, rah, rah. I was like, Jesus Christ, the world is in bad shape if I'm the future of the deal. So, as you're sitting there and looking out and saying, well, what's out there for us, Nate? It looks pretty scary. I would have to agree. You got double-digit unemployment. You have a drug crisis that leaders in our country have said, it's over and we won the war, even though we see the people still abusing drugs and alcohol in our society. We see the spread of AIDS and other diseases. We see the rising rate of homelessness among women and children and the poor in this country. We see a rise in hate crimes where American turning on American simply because of the color of their skin or the gender of their sex. And you're saying, you want me to lead a group of yahoos like this? You got to be kidding me. Well, I say to you that that's one side. That you could turn and run away if you're like most cowards. But I don't think an organization, ladies and gentlemen, like DECA, with students like you, are willing to do that, because you're willing to look at the other side. The side that says there was a fall in communism and the communist system did not work. And I have the skills and we have the technology that we can go into some of those foreign countries and into those European bloc countries, establish a democracy, and show them how a capitalistic system can revitalize a country. That's the kind of leaders I think DECA makes. So what's expected of you? What's expected of you besides not going out and partying? You guys still have the conduct code, huh? Yeah, I heard that. They are serious about that. Let me just say a little editorial comment here. They are dead serious about that. The conduct code has been around since I was here, and it's not changed that much. They will send you home. It's not a joke. Please have fun. Please learn all you can, and let's do it safely. Which is why when I say what's expected of you, it ties in real well, because in order to be a leader, you have to have a clear head. That means being drug and alcohol free, being smoke free, taking care of your body so that you can think clearly. What's going to make the difference, what sets us aside, what will set you apart, is being able to seize opportunity because you can think quickly. Being able to adapt, being able to on your feet without seeing a computer printout. Ray Kroc never had a computer printout. George Washington Carver had never had a computer printout, but he figured out to himself, he said, you know, really, if I crush these peanuts up, I don't have much to eat and I'm kind of tired of shelling them. If I crushed them up, I bet I could make something I could spread on bread. And then I'd have a sandwich. Thinking, never seeing a computer printout, never having to wait for an annual report to come in to decide whether you should embark on a new type of marketing campaign. Being able to think with a clear head, because you're going to lead this nation. That's fortunate for us because you're here. You're not on the street. You accepted the challenge of staying in school. You set yourselves apart by joining an organization like DECA. You very well may become future leaders, and I am so glad to have you. If you think that people your age don't make a difference, in addition to DECA, I would suggest you take some history classes. Because when the civil rights movement started in this country, the Vietnam War and the anti-war demonstrations that said we don't mind going to war if it's a war that makes sense and if it's something that the American people have a vote on, it did not start with old fogies like us saying, you know, that might not be right, or you know, women deserve their rights, or you know African Americans should be able to sit in a hotel and have dinner at a lunch counter. It started because students your age and a little bit older in college decided to get together and they said that's not what America is about. When you look at places like South Africa, everyone reads today about South Africa and how they have these uprisings and the tribal leaders and all of this fighting. What people fail to realize so much is that it wasn't even 18-year-olds. It wasn't 12-year-olds. It was 9, 8, 7, and 6-year-olds in the town of Soweto who were so disillusioned with the third-rate schools they had to go to, they decided they wouldn't take it anymore. Imagine you, if you will, at 8 years old. I can't remember what I was doing at 8 years old, but I know I wasn't standing up to water hoses and police dogs saying, man, you better get me a better school or I'm going to just boycott. You know, here are these 8-year-old kids doing this. Look at leadership. You cannot choose when and where, what situation and circumstance you will be called to lead in. And I don't know for you. But all I can say is that there are some really basic things that you need to do to make sure you're ready. The first thing is to set some goals. I know everyone always says, set some goals, and you know, and you feel like, I don't need to set any more goals, Edith. I got enough goals. Well, unfortunately you do. Because without goals, you know not where you're heading. But I'll say with this, when setting goals, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. It's the number one mistake people make because they think about, well, I've always been criticized as not being able to do this, or I've never been tall enough to do this, or I've never been that good looking to be a model or whatever. So they always limit themselves. And you have, the human beings have so much potential that if you don't limit yourself, if you set your goals high enough, you can achieve way beyond your wildest imagination. Analyze those goals. Does it make sense? Why am I doing these things? Is it just for personal goal? Is it just for material wealth? I don't recommend doing a goal just for material wealth, but if you happen to be in the money, well, you know, at least it's a goal. There he is. James Cash Penny, James C. Penny III, right there. There he is. The next thing that you need to do is to prepare. And preparation is so important. You talk to people all the time, and I figured it out in a real easy way when they talk about the difference between good luck and bad luck. A guy once told me, he said, Nate, the only difference between good luck and bad luck is preparation. Because opportunity will always present itself. The key is, are you prepared? If you're driving down the road and you're looking down and you're not paying attention and you're not prepared and you run up on a car, you slam on brakes, you run into it and you say, Jesus, what awful bad luck. I ran into that car. If you are prepared and you're driving along and you see this car and you stop and you swerve and you say, whew, what good luck, I missed that accident. It wasn't luck. It was preparation. The same set of circumstance, the same opportunity presented itself, but you were able to avoid it because you were prepared. And I can tell you now what's going to get you ahead, be it in the workforce, be it in your educational endeavors, competing for scholarships, when costs of schooling are going up so high, competing for jobs, or even when you're competing for that hunk. I mean, who's prepared? The guy who comes with the flowers and the nice phone calls and understanding what women like? They're the ones who are going to do the deal. The guy who's a slob and who never dresses nice, or who, you know, those are the guys that are going to lose out. Seems simple to me. Preparation. Prepare yourself for what you need. And believe in yourself. When you set these goals, it does you no good if you don't really mean it. If you don't believe in yourself, as they say, if you believe it, you can achieve it. And one of the things I remember is this woman told me about the story about telling yourself positive stories and the value of it. And the reason why people get so down on themselves and have such bad days is because they keep telling the same bad story. You see someone in the morning and she was saying that she was on her way to the airport and she was running late and she ran into the store and she had to buy some gum, threw the guy a 20. The guy gave her a change and she was running late for the plane. She ran and she jumped on the plane, and when she was in her seat, just barely made it. The door shut behind her. Plane was taxiing down the runway. She got ready to put her change in her purse, and she looked at it, and the guy only gave her change for a 10. And she thought to herself, that lousy jerk, I know he beat me out of my money. He knew that I was in a rush and wouldn't have time. He beat me out of my money. The guy next to her said, well, miss, how's your day going? Oh, it's just lousy. First I was running late for this plane, and next thing you know, this guy rips me off of my $10. She turned around and accidentally spilled a drink that she had down there, and the next person who asked her when she got off the plane, how was your trip? It was just lousy. Guy stole my money. I was running late for my plane. I wasted a drink on me. It's just the worst day of my life. She said she had told the same story to herself now 3 times, and it was only 9 o'clock in the morning. Telling negative stories. So what she did is she said, start anew when things start going bad. Tell yourself positive stories. So they said, next person said, how are you doing? She said, great. They said, oh, wow, what's going on? She said, you know what happened? I was running late today, but thank God I made my plane. Whew! I was on a roll, barely cutting it. I felt like O.J. Simpson going through the airport. Next thing you know, there was this guy. His mother was having brain surgery. This kid was working his way through school, working in the airport, and he wanted to ask me for some money for his mom, and he was so shy, I just gave him $10 extra out of my change and let him keep it. And I feel good because if this woman can have an operation and I've had anything to do with saving her life, I feel kind of good about that. You see what I'm saying? It's just telling yourself a different story. So everyone she came in contact with that day, she started telling them the story. So that after a while, people were thinking she was Mother Teresa or somebody. God, this woman gave this guy nearly $1,000 to help save it. By the end of the day, the story kept getting bigger. Telling yourself positive stories. If you tell yourself positive stories, those are the things that you start to believe. And it's not saying to fabricate something that didn't happen, but it's to accentuate the positive. If you do those sort of things by believing in yourself, you can climb mountains. I remember when I was coming, and I know that it's easier said than done, but I remember back when I was in high school, a junior, and thought I was a pretty neat guy, actually. Star of the wrestling team. Everyone predicted me going to state. I was going to be king of the hill. Played on the football team, was made varsity. I pretty much had things my way. Getting letters from colleges, and they were talking to me already when I was a junior, and I just knew I had it made. Well, my junior year, I hurt my hand wrestling. It got caught in a guy's jersey, and it never went back right. It snapped the bone completely off. And so a lot of the letters stopped coming because I had to drop out that year of sports. And a lot of the letters and a lot of the interest in my name wasn't in the paper, and I was feeling pretty down. And I took this class they called decca. And I took it because all my friends said, hey, here's an easy A. We get to work in the school store. We get to eat donuts in the morning. They got these great T-shirts you can buy cheap, and they help you get a job. And you get grades for that? I was like, yeah, this is me. I thought that was kind of my kind of class. Well, I took this class and was just going along, and everything was going along, but at that time, like I said, I kind of thought I was kind of a neat guy, had the little waves for the babes, and, I kind of thought, I thought I was happening and fresh, and, everything was pretty going my way, but I was kind of a smart aleck, too. Because, you see, I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks, as they say over in East Pasco, and wasn't exactly, the upper crust of the town. Well, I was talking one day in Mr. Hare's class, and Mr. Hare said, Nate, do you agree with that? And I said, oh, yeah. He said, no, you don't even know what I said. He said, that's because you were being rude. And you don't call me rude. I said, I can do anything that you were just talking about, whatever it was. And he was talking about going to the district competition. He said, you want to go in this competition? I bet you $20 you can't win. I bet you $20. So I bet him $20. I went in this competition, took my little stunt van, got smoked. Just smoked. Came in like 5th place. Well, Mr. Hare came up to me and I said, oh, so you're here to get your money? He said, no, I'll tell you what, double or nothing at the state competition, because I did qualify to go to state. I said, okay. But then I thought about it. I said, that means I'll have to take the second quarter of DECA too. Well, okay. So I took the deal. And I went to the state competition, but I tell you, this time I worked. I worked my butt off because I was not going to let him. I did it for the wrong reason. I did it because I was going to prove my teacher wrong, because I didn't think that he respected me. He told me I couldn't do something. I mean, I studied. I went down to the real estate office. I called the major hotel chains at the Ramada Inn. I mean, I put my presentation together. I had my briefcase, went out and bought me one of these little cheap plastic briefcases. I came in there with my little skinny tie on, bust my shoes. I was ready. I walked in the deal. I made my pitch, made my presentation, got ready to go, and I lost. And I could not for the life of me understand why I lost that competition. I saw the other person's presentation. I know I was better than them, not just because I'm conceited or something like that, but I said, I know I beat her. I saw that they had the deal open, and so I went back up in the room, and I'll never forget it. I was just heartbroken because of this, and Mr. Hare came in, and I said, so I guess you're here for your $40. And Mr. Hare said, Nate, you don't get it. It was never about the money. It was about you respecting yourself and other people. He said, I don't want your money, but now you've learned. You've learned what it's like to take the time to prepare yourself, to set some goals, to be let down, to get back up, and to continue to go. And if that wasn't enough, when I got back to my class that year, the class voted to take money from the school store's budget and send me to the national conference, even though I didn't win. And it taught me a lot about people. It taught me a lot about caring about people, about respecting other people. And it taught me a lot about myself, because I went to this conference and I was with these people and Adam and some of these guys, I know they know, because you go to a national conference, if you get a chance to go, go. I mean, you can get on the elevator and you saw these guys from Texas. Hi, y'all, we from Texas. And I was like, great, you know. And you get on the thing and you see these people, and they was, yo, I'm from upstate New York. You know what I'm saying? You know, Benny, hey, Benny, we're from New York. Where you from? Nate, how you doing, man? You know, I mean, you see all these guys, and the enthusiasm and the fun and excitement, and we had a person running for national president that year, Sean O'Shea. And Sean was running, and he was our state president, and he ended up losing, but I sat there and I watched him, and I said, you know, I'm going to be like him. And that was a goal that I set. I didn't even know what this program was about, really. I took it to get an easy A, but I said, you know, I'm going to become state president. And I had friends that told me, quite frankly, when I got back, first of all, they didn't understand what DECA was, and secondly, they asked me a magic question. You got to remember now, we're a lot more liberal and understanding of each other and more diversity and all of that jazz. But in 1976, we're still kind of at a crossroads. And they said, Nate, has there ever been an African-American state president, a DECA? I was like, no. Went and researched it a little bit, no. And they said, you'll never do it. They're never going to elect. They're never going to elect. They're never going to elect. Well, I took off that summer, and I just traveled all over the state. I went to Battleground, to Concrete, Washington, to Marble Mount, Omak, Chelan, Asotin. I have friends still over in Asotin and Clackamas and Pullman. I mean, all over this state, I met the DECA teachers in these different places and the students during the summer, and we did car washes and all of that. And when we got to when we got to the state governor's conference, and I stood up there, I'm telling you, when you set your goals high enough, when you believe in yourself, when you are willing to put what it takes to sacrifice not being with your friends during the summer, to sacrifice going out on a limb when they're telling you it's not cool to go and join an organization like that, you sit up there and you see who has the last laugh. And as I did, on October 18th when Nate Miles became the first African-American state president of Washington, decca. I did it, and I know you can do it. All you have to do is believe. If you believe, if you work at it, if you make the sacrifices that you need to do, no matter what your friends say, you too can do it. And you do it, you don't do it for selfish reasons. You do it because it is truly, if you believe in that decca creed, that's how I opened my speech at Governor's Conference. I use the decca creed because if you truly believe in doing something to help mankind, that's what leadership is. I thought there was some secret. I thought there was, it was going to open up to me one day and figure out what leadership, that's what leadership is. It's being a bridge builder for someone else because Mr. Hare, in his wisdom, carried me over. And by my running for office, I helped carry some other people over. Because the people from Concrete and the people from Asotin, they never thought they could win because they didn't have a big state delegation. But they made some traumatic gains. And the friendships that we made, we did it to build bridges. And that's what leadership is. That's the key. When you take challenges, when you face adversity, when you do things like that, to become a leader, it's to build bridges for the generations to come. And there's this poem that I would like to leave you with that Bob Langang gave to me as a state officer. And it took me a while to understand what it meant. But I caught on very quickly. It's called A Bridge Builder. An old man going a lone highway came at the evening cold and gray to a chasm vast, deep, and wide, through which was flowing a swift tide. The old man crossed in the twilight dim. That sullen stream had no fears for him. But he turned when he reached the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. "Old man," said a fellow pilgrim near, "you are wasting your strength in building here. You see, your journey will end with the ending day, and you never again must pass this way. You have crossed this chasm deep and wide. Why build you this bridge at the evening tide?" The builder lifted his old gray head. "Good friend, in the path I have come," he said, "there followeth me after today a fair-haired youth whose feet must pass this way. This chasm has been not to me, but to that youth may a pitfall be. You see, he too must cross in the twilight dim. So, good friend, I am building this bridge for him." And that's what leadership is all about. It's building bridges. And if you are willing to accept the challenge, if you are willing to make the sacrifices, then I would like you to stand where you are right now. If truly you think you can be a leader, if you can set a goal, if you can believe in yourself, if you can follow that goal, then stand with me and repeat something that I have for you. I take this pledge to be a leader, to earn respect, not take it, to lead by example, not take credit for faking it. I know it won't be easy, for I am not perfect, you see. But however, whenever, and wherever, I'll strive to be the best that I can be. I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful conference. Thank you so much for having me. God bless you. Thank you.
Nate, we would like to present you with this plaque for your participation in our conference. For us,
it is important to know that the skills we learn as DECA members will make a significant impact in our lives and our future as marketing leaders. You are the perfect example of a DECA member who took advantage of all the opportunities this organization has to offer. And you have definitely caught the wave of the future.
Today, we end our session with a special tribute for the contributions that many people have made to the success of the American dream. It is that same attitude and perseverance that we, as leaders of our own communities, are trying to achieve. And it is the same spirit of togetherness that we experienced during the recent Persian Gulf crisis. As we participate in this leadership conference with the goal of achieving our own dreams, we want to pay tribute to all the men and women who have worked hard to defend our rights as citizens of this country, and those who have paved our roads to success.
Make the most out of these 2 days and set your goals high. For the future of your success can begin right here at the 1991 Washington DECA Fall Leadership Conference. You've made this a great opening session. Your enthusiasm and excitement will carry through these next few days, and you'll have the greatest conference of your lifetime. This opening session is now adjourned.